Hi everyone, greetings from First Catholic Slovak Ladies Association, Chicago District, Branch 46. This is
Joe Ledvora
and Gary Ledvora, and we're here today with the Chicago District Facebook series of Slovak recipes. And today we're going to make, what are we making today? It comes from cabbage.
Cabbage.
Kapusta.
Kapusta.
How do you say that in Slovak?
Kapusta.
And how do you say it? It's not sauerkraut. We're making kapusta. All right. So, and it's not going to take too long. So we're going to start some of it. The first thing we need to do is shred it. And the kapusta we're making is homemade kapusta from actual cabbage. At a later series, we'll make, once it's made, we're going to saute it with some other things that so we use as a recipe also. All right, I'll start cutting the cabbage. Why don't you introduce the Slovak cookbook?
Slovak anniversary cookbook. Here we are.
And this recipe isn't in there, but we're improvising a little bit. So why don't you tell us the story about kapusta when you were younger?
Oh, kapusta. We used to have kapusta often, I remember as a kid. And I remember, this was about 1936 or 1934. I was either 8 or 10 years old. My mother sent me to Poransky's. That was a local grocery store. There was a grocery store on almost every block.
In Chicago?
Years ago in Chicago. And I got the kapusta, and at that time, it was, I remember it was 8 cents a pound. And what they did is they took it from a container, a large container that they had, and they put it into a tray, and it was a tray that could hold a pound of sauerkraut. And at that time, the cost, I remember that, was 8 cents a pound. And on the way home, I would sample the sauerkraut, open up the package a little and sample it a little bit. And my mother didn't get the full pound, maybe an ounce or two less than that by the time I got home. But sauerkraut was a good thing, and I enjoyed it. And it was nice. I have pleasant memories of the Chicago area and the experience that I had with foods and everything else. America's a great place to grow up in.
Where'd you go to school that was a Slovak area, wasn't it?
St. Michael's. I went to St. Michael's on 48th and Damon in Chicago. And at that time, it was every grade school had a teacher, a sister that taught, and we got a good education there at St. Michael's. And of course, we walked to school. It was only, in my particular case, the school was maybe only about 2 blocks away.
Did you have a baked potato?
Was it uphill both ways?
Was it uphill both ways?
Was it uphill both ways?
With a baked potato in your hand that you'd have to eat for lunch?
No.
No?
No. But I remember we used to have First Friday, and we'd get milk, and my mother would make a sandwich for me. Of course, they were meatless, of course, and it was a nice experience, and we did that for a good number of years, all through grade school.
Hi, we're back again, making the kapusta. We cut it up, and we're going to go to our next steps. But before we talk about that, you're going to tell us about how they used to pay the lodging.
Yeah, I had mentioned that. At St. Michael's on a Sunday afternoon, it would be once a month. They would collect lodge dues.
For First Catholic.
Ladies would come and for the First Catholic and other lodges as well. There were a number of different lodges, and the people would come and pay their lodge dues, and the officers with the different respective officers for the different lodges would be there too, and they would collect the dues at the time. And it was nice. It was a social affair, and people seemed to enjoy it. I remember that as a kid, and it was.
What year was that
It
about?
carried great. This was my familiarity with it was from mid-30s right up to the beginning of World War II.
World War II or the Civil War?
No, not this. I'm not that old.
Well,
I'm old, but not that old. But it brings back nice memories of. And the ladies were very, as I recall, they were very congenial, and I'd go there once in a while, with my mother. That's how I knew about all this. I went a lot of places with my mother, shopping and everything else. It was a nice experience. We did a lot, and everything at that time was walking. You walked. We used to walk from, as an example, 49th and Hoyne up to 47th and Ashland, which was probably taking all directions east, west, and north, south. Probably about, by the time we got home, it was probably about a mile and a half, 2 miles that we would walk. And coming back with the groceries and everything, and anything you bought in the way of merchandise. I remember that to this day very, very vividly.
like
A good experience.
like our first Catholic meetings.
Like our
I'm going to
first
put a
Catholic
time limit
meetings.
on you, otherwise
Yeah.
we'll go forever. Because we wanted to remind everyone to, after they cut up the cabbage, to put it into a pot. We're using a ceramic pot. It's got to have a cover. And then also, or you could use like a mason jar or something else like that. So it's all cut up and shredded in here. And then what we'll do is for every head of cabbage you have, we'll add about a tablespoon of non-iodized, a table and a half rather, of non-iodized kosher. We'll mix that in a little bit because that's going to bring out some of the water that's in the cabbage. And what we're going to do, we're going to let this sit here. We're going to put a weight on it because it's going to weigh down the cabbage to eventually get it into the water, and we're going to cover it up. And we're going to let this sit for about 24 hours, and then we're going to take a look at it and see if there's enough, if it's covered with water. And if not, the salt does, it brings out the water that's in the cabbage, which helps ferment it as well as soften it up. Because right now, it's pretty hard. It's real crunchy if you try some. Very crunchy. And if there's not enough salt or water, we're going to add, it's a mixture of water or salt water. About 1 tablespoon water to a cup of, 1 tablespoon of salt to a cup of sugar, a cup of water. Cabbage is going to my head. So, this is an example of some cabbage we made. This is about you want to try it. It's about 2 months old. You can see how much softer it is. And you can see what it looks like. Delicious. And you can see the difference of what your final product's going to look like compared to the original. So you want to, once you see the water, it's submerged in water, you'll need to wait about 2 weeks, and it's longer, they're about 2 months. And as you wait, it gets softer and softer. And as you know, Kapusta, there's no carbs in there. It's got a lot of nutrients in it. So it's a great side dish for any dinner.
After the cabbage is immersed in water, you put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
That sounds good. And you
Before
want to
you
leave
put
it out for 2 days,
into
a couple days, and then, yeah, you put it in the refrigerator.
And then you put it in the refrigerator.
All right, well, that looks delicious. Any other things you want to say before we sign off?
No, I think that'll do it. I don't want to, because once I start, it can never stop.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.